So when we come to seated, we're going to want to sit with heart over hips, head over heart. So there's two tendencies here. One is like the slouch over, like this will eventually begin to happen, and we just avoid that. Like there's a string being pulled up from the top of your head towards the sky. The chest has a little lift to it. And then the second thing that often will happen when we're seated like this, and this is like means it's like all those like overachieving type people will sit like this, or like lean forward, like they're leaning in to listen. But that's also not really in alignment. So just relax a little bit. That's like tense and I'm paying attention, or I've kind of stopped paying, like not stopped paying attention, but stopped listening to my upper back. So just like a little pull the shoulders together, but not so much that you're leaning forward. Yeah? It's all good. When you find yourself falling into one of those throughout this seated grounding, you just adjust. It's not like, oh, I'm bad. It's like, oh, awesome, I noticed. Cool, so. Here we go. So seated up nice and tall. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down. Let's set everything on silent. Or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you got a little extra to give today. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. The eyes can close or lower to a soft gaze if that's more comfortable for you. And on the inhale, shoulders rise up towards ears. Exhaling with an audible sigh, shoulders drop away. And let the breathing continue just through the nose if that's available. Taking a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Maybe the sound of passing traffic, or a dog barking in the distance. The ticking of a clock or shuffling of a pet indoors. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And the weight, where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body, Anamaya Kosha, from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. any restlessness or fidgeting. And just taking note to work into those places that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. And shifting the awareness up to the energetic body. How are you feeling in this moment on a scale of 1 to 10 in regards to energy? 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And noticing the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhales, exhale, that space in between. And shift that awareness up to Manomaya Kosha, the mind, allowing thoughts and feelings to arise freely. But no need to engage, like an image projected onto a screen. The story will go on without you feeding it. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they fragmented pieces of thoughts or a long drawn out drama? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And we'll bring that awareness back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhaling fully into the belly, belly expands like a balloon inflating. And every exhale pulls belly button in towards spine, deflating body. Inhales, fill belly, and ribs expand out to the sides, 360-degree breathing. Exhale, releasing ribs and belly. Inhale, fills belly, ribs expand, and chest lifts, so bringing air all the way up to the collarbones. And exhale as a release, chest, ribs, and belly. Continuing like this, filling up from belly to ribs to chest, Exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. This 3-part breath, Dirga Pranayam, helps calm the nervous system out of fight or flight sympathetic mode into rest and digest parasympathetic mode. By gaining some competency with that particular exercise, we can use the breath as a tool to calm ourselves when we can feel ourselves getting agitated or anxious unnecessarily throughout the rest of our days. In your next exhale, releasing any effort from the breath, just returning to a natural pace. The hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers, and the thumbs are pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or dedication for your practice, your reason for practicing this morning. We'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're welcome to join me in chanting. First, the cleansing breath. Gently release the hands to the lap, chin drops towards chest. And then inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest and left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing that to roll side to side. Good morning, Bodhi. Hello, hello. Good morning, Sammy Yoga. Hi, Mom. Buenos dias, Sergio. And hello, John, on Facebook. Hello, my friends. Welcome in. So we just finished with the grounding. Just beginning to move our bodies. So if you have any recommendations or requests for movements, poses, body parts, please drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to accommodate the collective's needs. And the next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about intention setting tomorrow because it's the first. And well, when we all first started back in November, we were just doing Sundays. And for January, starting the 4th, we did every day. I think we'll keep doing every day, at least till Valentine's Day. I want to say all of February, but for the 2 weeks that I'm here in NorCal, let's do our best to keep meeting up in the mornings. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying your company. Loving stretching and teaching. We'll roll shoulders back. And a few of you have reached out. Well, I think everyone in the chat right now has reached out, saying they appreciate it. So I'm gonna keep the practice going, you know. And tomorrow's the first. We'll have a refresher on Sankalpa, on intention setting. So I invite you to join in for that. And the stillness in the shoulders. So inhale, the arms sweep up overhead, reaching tall out of the waist. And exhale, over to the right. Left arm reaches over. Inhaling up through center. And exhale over to the left. This little free movement here, flowing with the breath. In and over. Good morning, Luna Bear. That's the Luna fish. Wow, she's awake in the morning. She's alive.
This is what I was expecting.
Are you excited for it? We're gonna go on an adventure today.
Yes, we are.
On a hike. The next time you come up overhead, we'll take a twist to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you. I'm just twisting the chest open to the side wall. Inhale up through center. And exhale, twist. Left. Following the breath. In to rise. Out to twist, like wringing out a sponge. And the next time the hands come up through center, we'll bend in the elbows, hands come towards ears. Just give the hands a wave. Just warming up the hands and wrists now before we put any pressure on them, before they're bearing any weight. And we'll play piano. So my elbows aren't moving, just my fingers and wrists are. And palms flip towards the sky, my hands are pressing back as far as they can go, fingers spread. And we're once again rotating to the full edge of your range of motion for the wrists. So we're helping prevent carpal tunnel here, undoing some of that texting, typing, drawing, writing, car steer wheel gripping, video game playing, you know. Good morning, Oya Hydrangea. Welcome in, my friend. Just gonna give the hands a nice shake out. 2, 1. Okay. So here, gonna extend the legs out in front. Follow with me. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Change directions. Just waking up the lower legs here. And bend in the knees. Bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide, and just drop the knees side to side here. Just beginning to wake up the hips. My feet are wide enough apart that my knee does not land on top of the opposite foot. And the next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll let them go all the way there. Let me just adjust the camera. We're coming into tabletop. the feet with the knees below the hips and the hips above, wrists below the shoulders. Next, this comes with me. Empty. Great. So, here we are on inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling, rounding the spine, chin tucks towards chest for cat pose. So inhaling, hands pressed down and back, knees pressed down and forward, gripping at the mat for leverage to really open up the chest here. Exhale, really rounds in the spine, pressing the hands down and forward, the knees down and back, like you're trying to stretch your mat apart for cat pose. Following your breath, in for cow, out for cat. Mom, good morning, Mom Furious. Welcome, welcome. So we're following trying to match the speed of the body to the length of the breath. Now this exhale, as we press into our cat pose, we're going to begin to stretch the tops of the feet. So lifting the knees. So we're pressing onto the shoelace part of the feet, enough to lift the knees. It might just look like a couple inches for you, that's okay. Mindful not to roll out on the ankles. We're going straight back on the feet. And connecting that to the breath. So we're only up there for a moment. The knees gently touch down. The inhale, back up through cow. Exhaling through cat, tops of the feet press down so hard the knees lift. Still pressing the hips back. So if you want a deeper stretch, if you were a dancer, then like this is, you've got space to play, right? So we're gonna press back. Still breathing, so we're still moving. We just got one more like that. Knees lift. Gently, that knee touches down. And we'll release I'm going to turn this way so you guys got a better view of what I'm actually doing here. We're going to release down onto the onto the left forearm and just circle out the right knee. So we'll work quite a bit into the hips today. That's what I'm feeling. We did a lot of chest and shoulders yesterday. I mean, that's always going to come into play, but change directions here. So you're going fast or slow, big or small, kind of taking a diagnostic to see like where your hips are right here, right now. And then pressing it back onto hands and knees. The right knee opens up to the side, like fire hydrant. And it's a slow motion side kick. Foot comes back in towards the hip and knee lowers down. So my knee's not touching the ground, it's just touching the other knee. Knee lifts, slow motion side kick, like moving through honey. Knee bends, knee lowers. Knee lifts, leg extends, knee bends, and lowers. Knee lifts, leg extends, slowly touch the foot down. Walk the hands back. My foot's in alignment with this front knee. We inhale, the arms sweep up overhead for our gate pose, G-A-T-E. Exhale, bending over to the right. No weight on this hand. If you feel like it's hard for you not to press down, reach across your belly to grab onto your left side or your left hip bone. If you're super bony like me, you just use your skeletal structure to your benefit here. So I'm breathing into the whole left side body. So nice lateral bend. This hip is pressing into my hand, pressing towards the left. One more deep breath here. And then it's like a cartwheel down to the left. My palm touches down, my right hand's just straight up towards the sky. I'm going to press into the extended leg and just lift up, pressing through the heel. So you could also do this, like if your knee is like, no way, you can do this standing. Your hand can be on a chair. So your hand's on a chair seat. This foot is on the ground. This hand can still come up overhead, over the other shoulder, right? And then you begin to work on these leg lifts. So we're pressing through the heel, the foot lifts, and then the toe just taps back to lift. My hips are still pressing, are pressing forward, so that this is all happening almost as if it's between two panes of glass. So I'm not kicking forward, I'm just going straight up, using this medial glute, like your, translated basically, it's like your side butt muscle. So it's just squeezing tight to get that lift. So why are we doing this? Besides getting like a super cute booty, we're also doing this to stabilize the hips. As we age, mobility becomes an issue. So we're just using all those we're just working on all those stabilizing muscles now. So it becomes less of an issue. All right, that was our last one. We made it. This top hand comes down in front. Walk both hands forward just like we were in tabletop pose. Tucking the left toes under, and we're just gonna press back and forward, giving this inner right thigh a stretch. Make sure if you are on hardwood floors like these or tile floors, as one of you admitted to me secretly, privately, that you've been practicing on a tile floor, which, respect, not everyone has a shag carpet like I do at home from like the 70s, but please, please, please use a mat or two, like double up if you can. Let's just be nice to our knees and our wrists, huh? All right, back to center, or rather, let's find a spot within this that feels like a good stretch. When I say a good stretch, it's not to say that there are bad stretches, but I mean one that's actually enjoyable, where it's like, oh, this is a nice deep stretch, not, oh, this is so deep that it's taking my breath away. Yeah, does that make sense? We got 2 deep breaths here. I like putting my head down. Pressing back into the hands. Bring the right knee in. Release the right forearm to the ground. So from wrist to elbow, I'm just touching down. Left knee begins to draw circles. So I just let like the lower back get a little involved in this. It's not really like any wrong answers. I'm just checking in, changing directions when I feel like it. Checking in for anything that might be pinching or clicking or cracking that might otherwise not be addressed. So if we go through the same motions of sitting on chairs, getting up from those chairs and laying down in the same bed, it's like all these clicks and cracks and misalignments never quite get addressed. So kind of in yoga, we get to address them. Gently place that knee down, come back onto tabletop, hands and knees. And we'll lift the left knee open to the side. Slow motion side kick. Ooh, oh, no, the foot's not coming down. So slow motion side kick. The foot goes back in and knee down. Wow, I almost just saved you guys like 5 of these. So the knee lifts, the leg slow motion extends, foot comes back in, and knee lowers. One more thing I only noticed because I'm doing it. When the knee lifts, see how my shoulders just went this way? Let's try not to counterbalance that and just use the core and leg strength. Keeping the shoulders over the wrists. It's like an added challenge. Added mindfulness challenge. We just got one more like this. So the knee's lifting, the leg is extending, and the foot touches down. Nice. Walk the hands back all the way up to kneeling. Pressing into the pinky side edge. We'll inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale over to the left. That bottom arm can release down. You can release across the belly, grabbing onto opposite hip. Chest is staying nice and tall. I'm just breathing into this whole right side body, expanding the space between the ribs. Those muscles are called your intercostal muscles. Taking deep, deep breaths. You might even feel like a little stretch on this inner left hip. This top hand, like a half cartwheel, comes down to the ground. Left arm up towards the sky. I press through my heel so my foot is flexed. And the leg lifts. Toe taps. I don't even let it like put any weight on the ground because that just makes it harder. So let it tap and come back up. My hips are pressing forward. So my leg isn't kicking forward or back. It's just going straight towards the sky. I have like this gnarly click in my hip here because I haven't seen my chiropractor in like 3 years. Dr. Beck, if you're out there, I miss you. Because I moved out to California and haven't found a chiropractor here. But yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, that click is there. I might be able to find the yoga pose that I'm missing in my life to realign my hips. But also like, okay, it is what it is. Like he showed me what has to be done in my lower back to make the click go away. And I can't do that for myself, you know? So we've got 3 more of these. Stabilizing the hips, strengthening this whole side body. And last one. Foot touches down, we walk the hands forward. I'm just gonna press forward and back. If this right knee is like starting to feel like a little sore from like all the weight we've been putting on it, just like I said, double up the mat. You can do that by literally folding it in half, and you've got like a four, right? Twice as thick, 3 times as thick. I can't do math. 4 times, 3 times. Anyway, my point is you can roll up, if you just have one mat, more than once to further support your knees. You can use a towel or a pillow. So finding a spot within that trajectory, you could be forward, it could be back, that feels like it would be a nice, enjoyable stretch for you. Just hold it there. And hold it there for 2 deep breaths. And pressing your hands into the ground, come back upright. Bring that knee in back to tabletop pose. Chaitanya, thank you, appreciate you. Okay, let's work on the wrist just a little. No, I lied. Let's bring the right foot up between the hands, and the left foot comes up as well. We'll heel toe the feet out towards the edges of the mat. Knees can be really, really bent here. We're bending into one knee and then the other. And then letting the head nod yes. Letting it shake no. You can grab opposite elbows, creating a frame for your head for ragdoll. And here, the knees can be really, really bent for this too, guys. You can really bend one knee and then the other, giving your body a sway. It's called ragdoll because you just kind of get to roll around and do whatever movement's going to feel good for you in this forward fold. Okay, hands release down, heel toe the feet together, big toes come to touch, a little space between the ankles. Inhale, up to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Crown of the head towards the front of the room, tailbone towards the back, trying to make a nice long line of energy, deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. So it's like half of a Jefferson curl. We're going up one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Garudasana mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Head tilts back to open up the throat. Following the hands. Exhale, forward fold, bending in the knees. Hands come through center. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend in the knees, sink in the hips. The arms through forward to counterbalance. So my hips are back, 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 so far back that if I was to look down, I could see my toes. My knees are squeezing together like I'm holding a postcard between it that I don't want to fall. And my lower back is not like popping out. It's super flat, like I'm basically getting rid of that S curve in the back just to elongate, give the lower back space. For more of like a shoulder strength thing, you can bring the arms up by the ears. But I like keeping my arms parallel to the ground. It feels more balanced. Deep breath in here. And out. Inhale, left arm sweeps open, chest opening. Exhale through center. We will get there, Godspeed. You got it. Inhale left, to the right. Exhale back forward. And bring back up to stand, full body stretch, release those legs and hips. And exhale, forward fold. We'll take a giant step back with the left foot. And here you just press forward it, press back a bit with the heel and my left knee is bent over left ankle. Back and forward, just giving the calf a bit of a stretch. And release that knee gently to the ground, untuck the toes. And here we're finding the right spacing. So the right knee is over the right ankle, the left foot's back, and I'm pressing the shoelace part of the foot into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. So I'm just playing with that. Maybe you're like, my knee is not going anywhere and I'm pressing really hard into my foot. That's okay. It's like takes a lot of flexibility in the front of the left leg for that lift to happen. But even if you're not lifting, you're still engaging those muscles and getting a nice deep stretch in this front left thigh. So we're just playing with this for 3, 2, 1. That knee releases down. You can keep that pressure, that feeling of the foot pressing into the ground without lifting the knee here. And that's going to give you stability to come up for our Anjaneyasana. So arms can sweep up overhead just like that. Or you can use this right knee as a step stone, as a step in between for stability. Shoulders are up over hips. If your shoulders are up over this thigh and they can't go back, then you just want to bring your left foot, your right foot, and your left knee closer together so that you have this alignment. Arms come up overhead, and exhale, shoulders melt away. Deep breath in, reaching towards the sky. And exhale, hands interlace behind the head. So just interlacing my fingers, placing them behind my head. My thumbs are going down the sides of my neck. I'm going to press my head into my hands and pull my elbows back. So I'm using the back of my head like a fulcrum to pull my elbows from forward to back, opening the chest and shoulders. Deep breath here. Then releasing, arms sweep up overhead and hands release down to the ground. Left toes tuck under and right leg reaches back behind you for your plank pose. It's going to feel really nice, like a nice relief on the hips. Just like to let them tilt to the side a little bit. And inhaling, roll onto tiptoes. Option 2, lower the knees here. As we learn for chaturanga, bend in the elbows brings us 90 degrees, no further. Tops of the feet flip onto the ground once more. We press the chest forward for upward facing dog. I'm squeezing the glutes, pressing the feet into the ground so hard that my knees are lifted. Alternately, if your hips and knees don't want to come off the ground, let them stay on the ground. But then bend the elbows, bring the hands a little bit more forward. The hands pressing into the ground. In this pose, Bhujangasana, is more of a pulling forward, like my chest is trying to reach the wall in front of me. We got one more deep breath here, wherever you're at. And then downward facing dog. So here's the fun part about all the foot stuff we've been doing, is that when you pike up, you can get to the point where you roll over the feet. Yeah? So you can play with that. I was really frustrated when I couldn't do it at first. So I worked at it for years and years. But maybe you'll get it on your first try. They're so dry. Okay. Here we go. Downward facing dog. I'm bending one knee and then the other. Kind of finding a little movement here. My left hip and right hip don't feel the same from the pose we just did. So I'm just giving myself a little grace for that. The heels are pressing down towards the ground. My hips are pressing up and back towards the wall behind me, and my fingertips are spread wide. Eyes are open, gaze between the feet or between the knees. If you're having trouble in this pose, you can give your knees a little bend to send your hips even further back. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Right leg reaches up and back behind you. Left leg reaches up and back behind you. Now exhale, knee in towards nose, tiger pose, rounding in the spine like cat. Shoulders come up over the wrists, and the left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Squeezing in the glutes. Chest gives a lift up, so we're not arching in the lower back. We're keeping that forward, but from the top up, we can go back and lift. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Right foot takes a giant step back. I'll do a little rock forward and back, giving that same stretch to the right calf. If you're not feeling a stretch in your right calf, you might not be pressing back enough, or your knee might be bent. So that knee has to be super straight. It's like the back of the knee wants to touch the ceiling for this calf to get stretched out. Get your gastrocnemius muscle. I love the people who named all these body parts in the first place. And gently release this knee to the mat. Untuck the toes. Make sure your left knee is over your left ankle. And we're going to start pressing the back foot into the ground so hard the knee begins to lift. Just taking your time here. Letting this right thigh open up. Really giving the top of the back foot a stretch. The ankle as well. You might feel this in your ankle later. So I'm always wanting to help you build ankle resiliency. Wrist resiliency, ankle resiliency, like pretty high on my priority list. So these are the things that get injured most frequently. And a lot of it's just because we fall. God is forbid, knock on wood. We fall and our joints just are not ready, are not resilient enough to handle the impact. Okay, so releasing the knee onto the ground, we're coming up into our Anjaneyasana low lunge. Checking to make sure your shoulders are up over your hips. And see, my left hip's pressing a little forward, my right hip's pulling back. Like my body wants to like go into a split. So that's not what we're doing though. So I'm gonna pull this left hip back, press this right hip forward to keep my hips nice and square to the short end of the mat. Still, knee over ankle. Still, back foot pressing strong into the ground. Not so strong that the knee is lifted, but strong enough that I have this stability. So I have all these strong points of contact. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, release shoulders. Bend the elbows a little bit. Another deep breath in. And exhale, hands interlace behind the head. Change the interlace. So right now my right finger is on top. I'm going to change it so my left index finger is on top. So it's like your goofy grip. Opposite of what feels natural to you. Thumbs are pressing down the back of the neck. We're using the head. Back of the head is a fulcrum. Pressing my head into my hands, pressing your hands into my head to pull the elbows open. One more deep breath here. Bring the head back to neutral, unlace the hands. Hands come down to frame the front foot, left toes tuck under, right foot steps back to meet left in our plank pose. All right, just like giving the hips a little sway here. That feels good to me, but yeah. Fingertips spread wide, deep breath in, shifting forward or lowering the knees. Exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Elbows don't go past 90 degrees. Elbows hugging the ribs, tops of the feet flip. And press the chest forward for our upward facing dog. Or cobra, releasing the hips onto the ground, bending the elbows, dragging the body forward to open front side body. Another breath in here. And out. And here I actually want to release the knees, bring the big toes to touch. And bring the knees wide. I'm going to go into a child's pose here. I'm just feeling it. Hips down towards heels. Let the head come down to the ground. Just kind of giving the one shoulder and then the other a dip down. Just a little free movement here. A moment in stillness. Hands press into the ground, toes tuck under. We'll meet in downward facing dog. The head be heavy, eyes stay open. Right leg sweeps up and back behind you. And exhale through tiger pose. Knee comes in towards nose, rounding in the spine. Shoulders come up over at the wrists. And right foot steps up between the hands. Left foot steps up to meet him. We'll inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. So we'll just turn here to face one another. And good work with that flow, everyone. Okay. So we're going to find a drishti, a focal point up ahead of us. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, the right arm sweeps under the left arm. I'm pointing in two different directions like the Scarecrow Wizard of Oz. He went that way. Stacking these elbows, backs of the hands come together. Right hand comes in towards my forehead and then slips in front. So somewhat like my palms are going to come together. So that's twisted twice. Twisted once is available, or grabbing shoulders is available if you're like, this doesn't feel good. Okay. There we go. We're going to bend in the knees deep, like in our chair pose. Then the right knee opens out to the side, light on the toes. And a big dramatic cross of this leg over the left leg. So right leg crossing over left leg, and the foot's pressing back, back, back. Maybe the toes hook behind the calf. Morning. Even if the toes don't hook behind the calf, there's a pull back up of that foot. So my legs are crossed in the air. The foot's crossing back. You think that bending this knee more is going to make it more difficult, but actually it helps lock your joints in place. So my elbows are squeezed together, my knees are squeezed together, and it's all squeezing together. Elbows are pressing down towards my belly button, pulling my shoulders away from my ears. Garudasana Eagle Pose. Just all squeeze in towards center line. Someone explains it like this. It's like taking a hose and putting a bunch of kinks in it so that the water pressure builds up. So when we get to release that water pressure, there's a flushing out of the system. Last full breath here. And release in reverse. Unhook the leg, unravel the arms, and they sweep up overhead. And let it go. How was that? All right, you know we got one more side, right? Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, the left arm sweeps under the right arm. Reaching as far as you can in this direction. Elbows come to touch, backs of the hands together. This time maybe it's the left hand that comes in towards the forehead and slips in front, palms together. And already you can start pulling the elbows down towards the shoulder, towards the belly button. We'll bend in the knees nice and deep, just like chair pose. And this time the left knee opens out to the side, light on the toes. So I'm really opening this knee up, just like I'm going to go into our tree pose or something else that we've been working on with the knee open. And then it's a tall cross, high cross over the leg. Foot's pressing back, back, back. I'm trying to get the entirety of the back of my right thigh onto the whole front left thigh. Maybe the foot hooks behind. Maybe the foot touches, just the tiptoes stay touching the ground. That's great too. Or a block. Okay, say you're here. Now the next step is to bring everything towards center line. So see my knees are veering off to the right. I'm going to push them into center line. Pull my elbows into center line. So everything's in alignment with my belly button. One straight line down the middle. And still I'm breathing. It's all good to reset here. One more deep breath here, Garudasana Eagle Pose. And releasing in reverse, unravel the legs, unravel the arms, release it down. Okay, let's shake that out. Just shake up the legs. I'm just beginning to bring a bounce to it. So, we're just beginning our lymphatic shake part of the class. Just relieving any tension or frustration that may have built up during that balance practice or during any part of practice, really. But balance tends to bring up frustration in people, especially if you identify as a person who's like not good at balance. And here I am, day after day. Today is day 35, my friends. Day 35, class 35 together. 35 days. I'm telling you, hey, we're gonna do this thing that you know or you believe you're bad at. And you may be feeling like, what the F? I haven't even gotten any better. And I'm here to tell you, it's not about progress. It's about presence and just seeing where you are right now. And that's the point. Not taking pretty, impressive pictures in really cool shapes, you know? It's about how you feel. It's about how you meet with yourself when you are met with your own perceived failure. Yeah? So every time you fall out of a balance pose, you may be taking it as a failure. And I'm telling you, that's your perception. Because here's my perception. Every time you attempt a balance pose, it's a victory. It just is. It doesn't matter if you fall out a second later. It doesn't matter if you get to the final version, the final evolution, the Charizard of your, of your balance pose. It's a victory that you tried. And I think that deserves a lot of respect. Yeah, Mom, I don't know if you've been here for our lymphatic shake before. We're just letting the whole body jiggle. You just lift the heels and let them slam down. We're creating a jiggle. And when you feel like stopping, you're like, wow, I don't want to do this anymore, double time. This is used to help relieve trauma, to release stress, to help drain the lymphatic system. Audible sighs are encouraged. We're about to go into our breath of joy. It's our 4-part breathing. We've been working on it all month. We're going to just work to use it as a tool to let go of any anger, frustration, anything else that comes up for you. Whatever, those are the ones I go to because that's like my emotional like things that I have to process. Like this is my healthy way of processing that without like throwing a mason jar at someone's head. You know? So we all got our thing. So what breath of joy looks like is a sip of air in, arms sweep forward. A sip of air in, no exhale in between. Another third of your air capacity in, arms sweep out. And a last sip of air in, arms sweep forward for full breath, lung capacity in, and a big ha, like yelling out, arms sweep back like through chair pose. Mom, I will tell you all about Yoga Nidra after we finish these 10 rounds of breath of joy, because we're at the yelling point. But I'll tell you real quick, it's a guided body scan meditation, reclining, with some visualizations, little lucid dreaming. So it goes sip of air in, arm sweep forward, sip of air in, arm sweep out, sip of air in, arm sweep forward, and a big ha, yell out as the arms sweep down and back. So in, ha, in, ha, in, ha, 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 ha. 3 left. If you haven't joined in, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one. Make it count. Ha! So, feet come nice and wide. Hand on your belly, hand on your chest, eyes closed. Let's take a moment here to see what was created. Elevated heart rate, perhaps elevated skin temperature. But what else? Just taking your body and like a snow globe, giving it a righteous shake. And here we take a moment to observe where that glitter dust settles. What is revealed when you let yourself go. When you let yourself yell, be loud, and take up space. Or what shows up to stop you from going all out? Whose judgment are you afraid of? Not right or wrong, not good or bad. Just something to notice. And gently blink the eyes back open. You can take a sip of water or tea. This cute little dog. Totally bored, totally uninterested in our emotional healing. Okay. Just gonna come a little closer to you. So you can take a sip of water. You can towel off if you built up some sweat during that. I'm just finally getting a little bit warm. It was so cold not being in San Diego. So sleepy. I know, the sleepiest dog ever. So if you're already on the ground, you just stay there. Great. And if you're not, you can come down with me. I'm just coming to the end of the mat. And inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, bending the knees deep, 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 so deep that we come down to seated. Or I'm going to come down to kneeling, actually. It's going to make more sense for where we're headed. So, Mom, yes, sorry, I gave you a rushed answer. If you're still here, let me give you a better answer for what Yoga Nidra is. It's a guided meditation focused on bringing us through all the koshas, which philosophically are levels of self: body, energy, mind, wisdom, bliss, true, capital S, self. So this is a practice in which we get to explore that philosophy through a technique called Divine Sleep Yoga Nidra, which is very similar to lucid dreaming. So we don't go into the full 30-minute practice here. We do about 10 minutes of it, but I think it's a nice introduction. And maybe one day we'll do a full Yoga Nidra session on stream if people are interested in more lucid dreaming type stuff. You guys can always request that. Okay, so here we are. Tabletop pose. We meet again. Don't worry, we're just here for a moment. The left knee comes up towards the left wrist. And then we're going to cross the foot towards the right wrist. So, can I bring my foot? Yes, totally interested. Mel, awesome. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Can I bring my foot up here? Yes, but then I've got nowhere to go. No, I do not. So he'll let my foot come back a little bit, more so towards that right hip. I'm gonna tuck the the right toes under, and I'm gonna scooch the foot back, back, back. I'm trying to bring my hips close to the ground without sitting totally on this left hip. So I could sit down on this right butt cheek. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this front hip actually to touch the ground. It doesn't. It doesn't. I've been doing this for 17 years. It doesn't. But that's the direction I'm trying to press this hip into. I'm going to untuck the toes. And then here's the fun thing we've been working on. We're pressing into, you don't have to do this, but you're pressing strong shoelace part of the foot into the ground. I'm looking back, making sure the foot isn't sickling in. Proud pigeon pose. Deep breath in here. And an exhale, we wave down. Belly, chest, head, reaching for distance, and then allowing your whole, come here, chat, body to release down. So I like using my hands as a pillow, but if you are farther from the ground than this, you can stack your hands into fists and bring your forehead to your hands. So I'm doing everything that I can in service of this left hip, this whole left butt cheek, hip area. Everything else is relaxed. So I don't feel like I'm in a perpetual push-up. My head is supported, my chest is supported, all of that good stuff. Let my eyes close. Every exhale sinks you heavier, relaxes something new, lets something more go. And press our hands into the ground. Come up to seated, not up to seated, upright. Bring that back knee in a bit. And send that left leg back and out. I just like stretching it, but that knee circle stuff we were playing with earlier might feel nice. A little free movement option here. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And let the right knee scooch up to touch the right wrist. Cross the foot towards the left wrist. It's more so towards the left hip, but I'm going to heel toe the back foot back, back, back. So I'm going to look forward. Trying to get my left front hip to touch the ground at the same time as my right sits bone. So it's that scissoring action towards center. I'm trying to get my hips square. They're not perfectly square. That's the direction I'm heading in. Just because I can't get it on the first try or the 1000th try doesn't mean it's not worth attempting to get that into alignment, right? Back toe points, straight back behind me. Yeah. Inhale, proud pigeon pose, shoulders pull back. And exhaling, we wave forward. I'm reaching forward more so than down. It's like I'm going forward, but since I can't go any more forward, because my hips are holding me down, the belly, chest, head must release down. Oh, you're good. Okay. Breathing here in your folded pigeon pose. Let your shoulders relax. Every exhale, you get to just identify where there is unnecessary tension in your body. And every exhale is just an invitation to release that tension. So maybe you're clenching your jaw. Next exhale, you just let it go. You're scrunching your shoulders up towards your ears. Next exhale, you just let them melt away. There's a natural or maybe a learned behavior that if we let go, everything will fall apart. And these types of postures are here to let you know, let you practice letting go without the world ending, without your body breaking irreparably. There's poses that the engagement is important to keep the body safe. And there's poses where the relaxation is necessary to get the benefit of the pose. This is one of those postures. So if you're holding on to tension, resisting the pose, what you resist persists. That tension is not going to serve you or go away. You will just be met with more of it. We'll gently press the hands into the ground, coming back up to seated. Bend in the left knee, send the right leg back. Ooh, okay, intercepted by the fluffy dog. And then whatever movement feels good here, just opening up some that space. All right. And then we're going to come down to seated. So I just drop my hips over to the right, bring the legs out in front, and I'm going to roll back nice and gentle. Make sure there's nothing behind you. Nice and gentle, and I flop back. You know, we're just doing the best that we can. Just giving my lower back a little bit of massage. And I let both of my knees fall over to the right. And when I say fall over, I mean gently place them over to the right. Left hand comes on top of the right knee. No, right hand comes on top of the right knee. Left arm opens up like the letter T. And I'm trying to get my left shoulder onto the ground. Doesn't matter if your knees are touching the ground. Doesn't matter if they're touching one another. I'm not even pulling with this hand. I'm just letting the weight just help with this gravitational pull. This is another pose, just like the last one, where the more you let go, the more benefit you're going to feel. Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes up through center. Knees come up through center. We'll gently release the knees over to the left. Left hand lands on top of right knee. Right arm opens up like the letter T. Now the right shoulder and shoulder blade are trying to press down to the ground, and you might look over your right shoulder to give the neck an even stretch. Did I lose you, internet? Why? Oh no. Are we good? Are we back? Am I here? Are you here? I don't know if I'm back. We're so close. Not sure if we good. I'm back? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully you're just here, super relaxed, and nothing's happening. Just in this left reclining twist. Awesome. Then we're just gonna bring the knees back through center. Just like hiccup in the Wi-Fi. Hello, Mercury retrograde. I see you. Oh, I was? Oh, great, good. Glad that I was talking to myself. All right, so here I am on my back, and any last movements or wiggles that your body is calling for, you just go right into them. They don't have to have a fancy name or anything. Like, they don't even have to be a pose. They can just be a random stretch. Just like anything in your body called out to you in the beginning that you haven't quite addressed yet, now is your opportunity to move through that. I'm always making up things here. Sometimes you just like move intuitively. It's like, oh, I think this would feel good. Like, no, that sucks for my knee. Okay, I'm not gonna do that again, whatever. It's just a way to, so all class you've been telling your body what to do. Or I've been telling your body what to do, and you've been passing that broken telephone language through to your body. Now, you just let your body tell you what it wants back. That only seems fair, doesn't it? We're doing this in preparation of Savasana, our final relaxation pose. Mom, if you're still in the chat, this is the pose that is, that I bring in the tenets of Yoga Nidra, right? So that might look like laying a blanket over your body, putting on socks, because your body temperature is going to lower in this next pose. Now what it looks like is laying flat on your back. So Savasana translates to corpse pose. So there's your visual. Let the feet come a foot apart from one another, legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. If you experience pain in your lower back, laying flat on your back, you're going to want to keep your knees bent. And you can do that by placing a pillow below the knees. And then I just lift the hips a little bit. I just lift my butt up a little bit to elongate my lower back so that it's pressing into the ground. If you don't have a pillow, bring your feet to the outside edges of your mat. Let your knees knock together, broken bridge. Once again, I lift my hips to press my lower back into the ground, and then I let it all be super, not muscle activated, just automatic. Just letting gravity do this thing. Hands released down by the sides, at least 6 inches from the body, palms face open, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. I like tucking my shoulders under, just so my chest feels nice and open. And the head lands with the neck long. So I give a little tuck to my chin so that my back of my neck is a little bit longer. And then just place it down. So I'm staring straight up towards the sky. The invitation is for the eyes to close. Closing your eyes does not feel good to you. You can just have a soft gaze towards the ceiling. Traditionally, it's practiced with the eyes closed. I'm going to sit up so that I can more easily speak to you and play some Tibetan singing bowls for you. That you just stay laying down. And we'll start this meditation as we did the last, with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Suggest an audible sigh. Highly suggest the audible sigh, guys. And just allowing the breathing to continue just through the nose, if that's available. Allowing the exhalation to become longer and deeper than your inhalation. And every exhale sinking you deeper and heavier into the ground below you. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. And the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. A symbol of Chitta Vritti, monkey mind. It's an invitation to shelf him for a moment. All the muscles in the jaw, cheeks, relax. Nose and nostrils relax. Allowing a gentle flow of air through, like waves lapping up to shore. And the eyes rest heavy in their sockets, eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as the forehead relaxes. And the ears with all their folds, wrinkles, the ear canals, all the muscles surrounding the ears, back of the head, and top of the head relax. Neck and throat melt away. And shoulders and shoulder blades relax. Upper arms and elbows rest. Forearms and wrists release. And the palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds, all rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back,
middle and lower back. Rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Chest gently rising and falling, perhaps imperceptibly. Belly naturally rising and falling with the breath. And the glutes, pelvis, and hips rest heavy, supported by the earth below. Thighs and knees melt away. Calves, shins, ankles relax. The heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and toes all relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. Know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. Gently allow your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. And that feeling of heaviness replaced with a feeling of lightness and openness in the front side body, the awareness lifting to the surface. As fingers and toes begin to wiggle, reintroducing movement into the body. The head can gently rock side to side. And the arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Let the knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully released and fully supported by the earth below you, bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or an invitation to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground using as little effort as possible to come up to seated, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of postures that were deep hip opening 360 hip opening, as well as ankle opening. We did lots of ankle resiliency work today. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to one another, to everyone that held space and brought energy to this practice. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me for my practice today. I hope you found something that serves you. Something that I said, I hope resonates. Something in the body, I hope clicked in the right way. You're welcome, Bodhi. Thank you for being here. Namaste, Mom. Namaste, Papa Mario. Namaste, Kitty Snacks, Bodhi, Biggie, Brigitte. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that these Sunday classes have been going strong too. It's like, I feel like it's like a little reunion of everyone, even though in my head you guys all know each other, but of course you do not. You're welcome, Lar4444. You're welcome, Mel. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Oya. Yeah, apologies for the, I don't know, I'm trying to like apologize less, but also like I am kind of sorry that the Wi-Fi cut out. No one else is awake in the house. No, maybe they're awake now because I just like yelled for like 10 minutes, for like an hour and a half straight, but like no one else is on the internet, so I don't know why it cut out. But luckily it looks like chat said it was just for a couple of seconds, so. And at least it wasn't like in a headstand or something, right? It was like in a reclining twist, so. If there was going to be a Mercury retrograde blip, I'll take it. I'll take it that this is the one, right? And yes, thank you for dropping the tip information in the chat. Daydream boy, my love, hello. Hi, gozaimasu. What's it called? Thank you for dropping the tip information there. Yes, through Venmo's preferred, but PayPal works too through the link. $5 gets you a recording of the class, and that I won't be interrupted because it's recorded on OBS instead of recorded through the stream. And they do have timestamps, so if you just wanted to do that Savasana again, if you just wanted to shake and do Breath of Joy, that would be totally a possibility. Just from a click of a button away. So yeah, appreciated but not mandatory. How was class for everyone? How did that feel in your body? How's your weekends going? Daydream, how's Lucy? I have Fluffy Dog in my stream instead of Shadow Dog. You guys know my dog's like the like cutest, but also you probably don't know that because she's like invisible on stream. You can't see her in the darkness. Here's all like light and oh yeah, with the actual Japanese typing, of course. Does that say Ohayou gozaimasu? I just know how to write it in like Roman letters, which is, I know. Where are you, Ethereal Bodhi? Here you are. How do I make you? I don't know how to. There we go. How do you do? Nope, that's not what I want to do. Yes, it does. I think I'm just tired, but I need to work on my hip strength. Totally. Well, you know, there we go. Cool. Work on my hip strength. Yeah. Well, we definitely worked on it today, and then we did some deep stretches after. So so tomorrow your hips might be sore, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're just gonna drink water and give your hips probably a rest tomorrow. like tomorrow in class, we probably won't do anything that's like too heavy on the hips. So we can just, it's almost like crop rotation on a farm. I don't know, this might be too out there for a metaphor, but basically it's like you don't want to plant tomatoes in the same fields or potatoes in the same field every single time. You have to like rotate it so that the nutrients don't get, okay, so anyway, I'm going too far with this metaphor. Basically what I'm saying is like you don't want to work on hips, like deep hip stretches and hip flexibility every day of the week, because you're going to get burnt out, and then you're going to feel really, or you'll probably feel really like defeated that like you can't, by the third or fourth day you're just like maxed out and you're like, well, I'm not going to do anything. So you rotate. It's like, okay, yesterday we did shoulders and chest, so today we did hips, so tomorrow we'll do something different, etc., etc. That way you get a well-rounded practice, as well as you're building everything up pretty evenly, so you don't have like the gym bro upper body strength, the chicken legs, like, well, good luck bulking up in yoga. Yoga's good for many things, my friends. It's not great for bulking up. In fact, it'll do nothing for you bulking up. But if you are bulking up, it will help you prevent injury. Yes, it will. It'll help you retain flexibility. Yes, it will. But you're not gonna get guns from yoga. I'm sorry. Definitely a good supplement though for that. But that being said, like, we are building strength here, deep tissue strength. So we're strengthening and reinforcing our ligaments and our tendons. It's all very functional. So there's like, it's all with our own body weight, right? So chaturanga is like that. You pushing the ground away is you pushing your body weight away and holding it at a distance. That's the same as being on your back. That's not the same, but it's a similar motion to being on your back and like bench pressing, right? Weight up. So you got a solid chaturanga. You can have a solid bench press of that weight, of your weight, not more than that. There's no reason for your muscles to have had to do more than that. So there's no reason for you to be able to bench press more than that. Does that make sense? When I did yoga every day, I got yoked, but did bulk up, didn't bulk up. Yeah, so you get ripped. Yeah, yoked, ripped. So much slang. Like, you'll get like shredded. Like, you'll get like definition. You'll build long, lean muscle, but you're not gonna build like bulky, like bodybuilder muscle. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We get toned here. Well, more importantly, we stay flexible here. Easiest way to a swimmer's body with no water. Yeah, well, and it's only one layer, right? What does your diet consist of, if you don't mind me asking? I do not. Mostly tea and water. No, but yes, when it comes to like actual fluids, like that's what I drink. And like, I drink coffee every once in a blue moon, a little bit more than a blue moon, probably once in a full moon. So with my diet, I eat wild caught seafood, and otherwise I haven't eaten meat. I haven't eaten any farm animals in 17 years. Same time I started practicing yoga, and I went vegetarian the same year. So 2004. You guys might have to do the math for me. But yeah, in 2004 I stopped eating meat, so no chicken, no pigs, no cows, none of that. But I started eating fish again when Daydream Boy became a sushi chef, back when we were living in Connecticut. Shout out to all my Connecticut peeps. I got a couple here in the chat. And so he was working at a sushi restaurant, and I was basically eating miso udon, like vegetarian miso udon soup every day. And I was just like starving and eating a lot of soy. So I was in college, right? So basically it was in my best interest to start eating fish for like the omega-3 fatty acids, for the protein, but also for the fat, because I couldn't afford to eat. Avocados had like blown up by then, and they were like having a moment. So I couldn't afford to eat avocados every day. It's not good to eat one type of thing every day. So it's basically the only oil in my diet was like coconut oil and olive oil. And I know there's a lot of like chaos in the world about like fat, good fats and bad fats and all of that, or if fat's good for you or not. But I didn't have it in my diet for so many years that like my eczema got horrible, my joints hurt, my hair was like breaking and like brittle, my nails were always breaking, or like they're just like not shiny. It caused a lot of issues. Lots of eggs now, avocados, miso soup. I wish avocados weren't so expensive. I know. Wow, did you notice a huge change in your energy? My wife and I officially decided to cut meat Monday through Friday. I'm pretty excited. Also, avocados are expensive. Oh my god, right? Okay. That is so exciting. That's so exciting, Kitty Snacks. You and your wife are cutting meats Monday through Friday. I mean, like, I recommend, here's what I recommend. I'm not a doctor, but I recommend you try out different diets to see what feels good for you. Like, I think that that's smart. I stopped eating meat actually because of Kaya. So the girl whose house I'm staying in right now, like whose wolf that is, she showed me a PETA video when we were like 13 years old, which was super traumatizing, called Meet Your Meat. I'm sure it's trash now, but like back then it was super traumatizing. And so I totally went vegetarian for the animals when I was 13 years old. And by the time I was in college, 4 years later, I became like super environmentalist and like went on marches and advocated for all of that and realized like how bad meat is for the earth. So I was basically vegetarian and then vegan at points for the earth. And then by the time I graduated college, I was so unhealthy from doing it the completely wrong way. I was like really thin, like skinny thin. Oh, I just threw tea all over the freaking ground. Like unhealthy thin and like sick. So I was like, something's got to give. So I started eating fish again. I was like, okay, I have to do wild caught, not over farmed fish, right? So cool it on the tuna, but sardines, yes, mussels, yes, that kind of stuff. And mussels, clams, and oysters are farmed, but I'm actually okay with that kind of farming. And if you do the research into it, like I think you may agree with me. They're very high nutrient dense, and they're also like sustainable. They're not causing a bunch of pollution. So I do farmed mollusks, but not farmed fish. That makes sense. You're talking a lot about restrictions, but you're an amazing cook with ingredients that you do use. Oh, thank you, Daydream. All right, okay, so what do I actually eat? I eat lots of whole grains. So rice is my favorite food ever. Like if I had to eat something every day, it would be rice. But I try to mix it up between like jasmine rice and short-grained rice, wild rice. I just bought a bunch of barley to make here, quinoa, and then top that with vegetables. So pending what part of like my hormonal cycle I'm in, I'll change up the grain vegetable protein mix. Quinoa, yeah, so I'm Peruvian, so quinoa comes from my country. Actually, like Peru's being hella exploited right now because of the quinoa industry, because it just got really big and they don't have like good labor laws there. However, I do still eat it. I haven't figured out like a sustainable fair trade way of doing it necessarily yet, but because I grew up eating it, so I'm not gonna like stop. But I also like I do think that there's room for improvement in my own consuming when it comes to just being mindful of like my own people that like my dad immigrated from that country. So yeah, quinoa is awesome. It's really good for you. And then vegetables. I love roasted vegetables. So like this is how I like get sugar in. Beets, carrots, radishes. I have a rutabaga, turnips, and I love chopping them up with a little bit of olive oil and some crumbled or chopped up herbs like sage and thyme, rosemary, Scarborough Fair type herbs, and then I just put them in the oven at 420 Cause I just picked that number because I thought it was funny. But I put them in there for about 10 minutes. And then the last 2 minutes I hit broil on high, and I just like let it like caramelize at the edges, and all the natural sugars inside those root vegetables just like crisp at the edge, and it's like, ugh. And then like when I want sugar and I'm like candy or like want, cookies or anything, I like literally eat beets and carrots and like caramelized vegetables. I don't know. I recommend it. It's really good. Oysters are good. Shaking my head. Did it for the memes. Did what for the memes? Also, I crowned you, Bodhi, because you've been very. Thank you so much all week for being here and kind of helping me navigate. You and Oya are like I really appreciate you guys. In chat when I'm practicing, I can't like really see everything that's going on, so I feel like you guys keep things from getting crazy or spammy. Oh, 420 in the oven. Yeah, I did it for the memes. Exactly. True life. Like, I realize this, that like the more I cook, the more I'm like, oh, this shit's all made up. Like I could just make this up. Like the temperature for cooking versus baking is so made up, and it doesn't even equal, like it depends if it's like an electric stove or a gas stove, like all of this stuff, like convention or convection oven, all this stuff. So really, like I've just been having fun like experimenting with different things, and then besides that I always eat like greens, so like kale, chard, mustard greens, spring mix, dandelion greens. What else do I like? Daydream's sister makes really good collard greens. All of that, and then like for protein, I love lentils and beans because I'm Latina. That's what we do, and then I kind of told you for fish what I like to make. So have you guys started yet, Kitty Snacks? Have you and your wife attempted to do like a meat-free day or two, and that's what inspired you to go meat-free, or are you just gonna go cold turkey? And like, did you guys get like a recipe book, or like? And to answer your question earlier, you noticed a huge change in my energy. I was 13 when I stopped eating meat, so I don't know. That was a long time ago, and I haven't eaten meat since. So I don't have a good answer for that. I want to be like, yeah, I have tons of it. But the thing is, like, I'm like a really energetic person. Like, I'm fueled from within. Like, I have unbound energy. That's why I run and do yoga, and like I'm always moving. I don't know. I don't know if that's because I'm vegetarian, or was. I'm pescatarian now, but. So I don't want to make any false medical claims. We actually started this week. Woo, how'd it go? What did you make? Oh, okay, cool. I made enchiladas with quinoa, corn, tomatoes, cilantro, bell peppers, jalapenos. So good. Oh, that's awesome. But mostly winging it. Okay, here's a tip. To make a perfect protein when you're not eating meat, it's all about pairing legumes and grains. For example, quinoa and lentils, rice and edamame, corn and corn tortillas, right? And black beans. So when you pair a whole grain like that with a legume, like some kind of bean, chickpeas, right? They actually form a complete protein in your body, and if not, you're not going to feel as satisfied, and your energy is actually going to start to drain. Minus the wings. My wife loves anything, and I'm a little bit more picky. That's all good. I'm super high maintenance. I got here to Northern California, and I'm like going grocery shopping and like blah blah blah, and I'm like, I have like so many, like, because I'm allergic to tree nuts, and I'm allergic to like most fruit, and I don't eat meat, and I don't eat dairy, or I avoid dairy, and I'm pretty much gluten-free. So I realize I'm not so picky about food, but time of day matters for me. Yeah, daydream, I feel like. I'm like, hey, I'm making food. He's like, that's nice. I'm like, are you hungry? He's like, no, but I'll be hungry later, so just make me food and I'll heat it up later. I'm like, okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, totally. I've been doing this for a while, so as long as you've got that whole grain and that protein source, it could also be like tempeh or whatever, or like whatever you guys are using for protein. But if you are gonna rely on lentils or beans, it is important that you pair it with a whole grain. Amaranth works, barley works, you know, all of that good stuff. Good morning. Sorry if I woke you up today. Okay.
No, you're fine.
I just feel like I have to say it because I'm like screaming in your house.
No, I genuinely don't care.
Okay.
As long as it's not like before 6.
Yeah, no. No screaming before 9 a.m.
Yeah,
I promise.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't care.
Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah. Alright, so we've got 1 out of 3 people who live in the Empire. Oh, no, I think I saw Braden earlier. He walked by. Yeah. Oh, look, everyone's waking up. Okay, hello. The wolf is still asleep, but you know what's nice? So like with the internet is like you don't really need a cookbook. You can just, whatever you're feeling, you can just like look up like Mediterranean vegetarian dishes or recipes. Or sometimes I'll look in my cabinet and like my pantry or my fridge and be like, I have these 3 ingredients or like whatever, 6 ingredients, and I'm like, how do they go together? And I will literally just type them into the Google search bar and be like, recipe. So I'll be like, chickpea, I don't know, I'm literally making things up. Chickpea, codfish, spinach, garlic recipe. And it'll be like, funny you ask, this Lebanese dish has been used for years. What, do you have some mint? Like, whatever. And then, like, you get to, like, learn all these new, like, Turkish dishes and whatnot. I've been into kind of, like, Mediterranean, like, Middle Eastern food this past month or so. I don't know. Just because I'm being kind of on a kick. Ethiopian cuisines have really tasty vegetarian recipes. Yeah. What's it called? So definitely, like, stepping out of the usual is going to keep it interesting and fun, so you don't find yourself just eating like salads every day, you know. I also find, like, for me, just like with my disposition and body composition and whatever, like cooked food is way better for me than raw food. So like raw veganism destroyed my body, but not because raw veganism is bad, right? Like, it's great for some people. Like, Daydream Boy was raw vegan for a month, and he felt all these benefits. For me, my skin was, like, falling off from my eczema. I was so, like, rickety and, like, dry and, like, cold all the time. So, like, for me, it's just, like, okay, that does not work for my body. I can have, like, raw pressed juice and like salads like when I'm ovulating, and otherwise like not at all. Like any other part of my hormonal cycle, it'll just fuck me up. But I love juice so I freaking love it. I've worked at so many juice bars. Like I love juice so much. But I go in when I'm ovulating, just drinking juice all the time. I started grilling veggies last week and replacing protein with fish, eggs, and beans. I hope to stick to it. Yeah, totally. It's just 1 week at a time, you know? That's awesome. That's really, really great. I think, yeah, meal prepping is going to be the way to go if you're trying to start a new habit, so you don't feel the pressure of every day having to come up with a new recipe, you know? Daydream Boy, having cookbooks around changes the game. Also, random thrift stores and free libraries have gold in them. Yeah, I definitely love our, like, physical cookbooks that we have. I don't know if we've ever even bought like a brand new cookbook from anybody. It's always ones that we find or have gifted to us. We had a chef that lived next to us when we were living in downtown San Diego, and during COVID they ended up having to move out. I think they moved to LA if I'm not mistaken, and they gifted us. Like 50 cookbooks, and some are better than others. Like the falafel recipe is trash from that Mediterranean book. It's so mad. I followed it to a T. I'm very good at following instructions. You might have gotten that hint from like